Greetings, so if this may concern, Christian Egler here back with another series review, and in today's series review I'm going to be reviewing the 4th season of Stranger Things. The series stars Millie Bobby Brown, Finn Wolfhard, Winona Ryder, David Harbour, Gaten Matazzaro, Caleb McLaughlin, Natalia Dyer, Charlie Heaton, Joe Keery, Noah Schnapp, Sadie Sink, Maya Hawke, and Matthew Modine. Now, both volumes have dropped. I have binge watched all of it. I binge watched volume 1 when it came out, but I didn't want to review it because I wanted to wait until the second part. I'm like, come on, just wrap it up, just like make it one cohesive season. So they finally did it. Volume 2 came out, and I got to watching, and I was, to my surprise, I was really, really surprised to see that the finale was basically a movie. It was a full feature-length Stranger Things movie. So the question of will they ever do a movie already did. That was the longest finale. I think there might be. I don't know if there's anything that exceeds 2 hours 30 in terms of like a TV series finale or even a streaming finale. Educate me below if you know. But to my knowledge, I don't know anything that has. So that was really ambitious to kind of stare down and really get through. But glad to say that those 2.5 hours flew by rather quickly because everything was just one after another. And the pacing right off the bat was pretty good, especially in that final episode. The episode before kind of slows down a little bit with Eleven and Matthew Modine going back and forth. A lot of that is just retreading the same waters we already know, but I get why it's all there because it does pay off in the end. But besides that, I felt everything else was relatively paced out very, very nicely. We get some introductions to new characters, which the first episode is personally my favorite episode out of this entire season. I like how it just brings us up to date with everyone, and it shows everyone in uncharted waters a little bit. Like everyone is kind of like off doing their own thing. The main group isn't a unit anymore, so I like how it's like it feels like time has passed in this world. Like we left Hawkins for a little bit, now we're coming back and nothing's the same. So I kind of like how the first episode gave that feeling. I also love the homages to Nightmare on Elm Street. Huge homages. I wish Robert Englund was used a little bit more in this season, but I'm not going to give too much spoilers away, just in case you haven't seen it and you're wondering if it's worth your time. It is, especially if you've watched 1 to 3 by this point. Definitely go on to 4 because, obviously, just to continue it, because I know a lot of people say 2 and 3 were weak, but 4 really delivers. It really picks itself up. I feel like they heard from the audience and they're like, okay, well, don't worry, we were just building up to this better season, So this better season is here, and it's probably second favorite to season 1 in my personal opinion. I still love season 1, but this is a close second. And then for me, I think it's 3 and 2. But I thought the performances here, even with the old veteran faces and with the new characters like Eddie and Argyle, they're all phenomenal, man. They all give their characters so much life. They play into their caricatures, and it works perfectly for them. Eddie has become a quick fan favorite. I know the first episode made me like Eddie a lot, just the same as everyone out there. But yeah, Eddie was a great character in this season. And then I ended up even liking Argyle.
Holy macaroni!
At first he was the typical stoner friend, right, for Jonathan, but then over time, he basically has a part to play in saving the day. Eleven needed that pizza dough fridge, if you know what I'm talking about. So if without Argyle, they probably would have taken a little bit longer to get some salt and water, right? Another thing that stood out to me was Robin and Steve's friendship.
Vicky is definitely not the wrong girl.
We just don't know that, do we?
She returned fast times, paused at 53 minutes, 5 seconds. Do you know who pauses fast times at 53 minutes, 5 seconds? People who like boobies,
Ew,
Robin.
Gross.
Boobies.
Don't say boobies.
Not a big deal, okay? I like boobies. You like boobies. Vicky likes boobies. Definitely. Boobies.
It's probably one of the most solid and genuine natural friendships that have built up over the course of the series, I believe. Steve, of course, has the ultimate character development, right? But just his relationship with Robin is really solid, man. It feels, again, real. It feels genuine, and I like how they explore that a little bit more. They are the female and male equivalent of each other. That's how I see it, is like Robin is technically almost like a female Steve, and vice versa. So, and I think that's what really pulls them together ultimately. They understand each other, they see each other for who they are, and that is just a beautiful friendship just to have flourish on the screen, you know, and it's one of my personal favorites, you know. They're both looking for love, you know, and they get really heartbroken, they fall really hard at the same time. So, those are like just two characters you just want to have safe, right? You just want to keep close to you and just like, oh, don't hurt these characters, right? So they're clearly a highlight throughout this season. Another highlight of this season is Caleb McLaughlin, man. He really stands out as Lucas, and I like how they had him trying to separate from the group. You know, he's tired of the same old, you know. He's trying to get a taste of the good life, and it's understanding because the good life is enchanting, right? Whether when you're a kid in high school that's being popular, or if you're an adult it's being like well off or like really wealthy, right? Or like being in that in society, being fame and fortune, right? All of that's enchanting, but he sees the dark side of it. He sees the repercussions of all of it. Not everything is happy-go-lucky all the time, you know. Sometimes more popularity comes more trouble. You know, so I kind of like how Lucas went down that path this season, you know, and ultimately we see him grow from that, and that is really cool. And he has some badass moments in this season, I'll tell you that right now. He has some pretty badass moments, especially in the second half of the season. Sadie Sink as Max gave a terrific performance. She showed a little bit of range throughout this season, which is pretty funny. She showed some sarcastic side, she showed a little heartwarming side, and then she showed very much traumatic, dominant fighter. So she covered the spectrum, I feel like, in this season, and it just shows that she just continues to be a great actress. Are there any negatives to this season? Well, like I said, the Matthew Modine and Eleven stuff in like the second half in volume 2, so the final 2 episodes, so probably episode 8 in particular, that stuff just feels like it's retreading water. But again, there's a rhyme and reason for it, but that to me slowed down the pacing just a tiny bit. And in volume 1, I didn't really like Joyce's story. I knew she was going to be safe the entire time because all she's doing is just following Hopper's steps. You know, she wasn't really that in danger. You know, the plane sequence was pretty cool. It was actually really cool. My highlight of her whole story in this, rather, you know, save for the end. I don't want to say what happens, but I did like the plane sequence, but everything else just felt like, okay, wherever Hopper's been, Winona Ryder's going to follow, right? Joyce is going to be there in the next, if not the next scene, the next couple of scenes, right? And that tended to be the case, and I'm like, okay, we can, you know, speed this up a little bit. And so I thought that slowed down the pacing a little bit, but that's just me personally. That didn't really ruin the experience overall, but it did slow it down for me just a tad. So with all that being said, what do I give this season of Stranger Things? I have to give it a solid 4 out of 5 Skarsgård. It is very, very good. Again, second favorite to season 1 in quality. Season 1, season 4, 3, and 2. That's my ranking right now. I personally can't wait for season 5. The way 4 ends, it just makes you want 5 right now. So it's going to be cool to see where they go. It's going to be cool to see how they wrap it up. Is this last season going to feel like Game of Thrones, in which a lot of main characters are going to be killed off and there's only going to be a select few? Who knows, man? That's going to be up to the Duffer Brothers, whether or not they want to torture us or have us smile in the end. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all wraps up, and if there's going to be anything in the future for this series or for this world, the franchise, spin-offs. Who knows what's going to come out of this in the future. So again, I cannot wait for season 5. So that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for reaching to the end of it. Please let me know what you thought of the season down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down below. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. It's always very much appreciated. The rendered image is a show I co-host my good friends Tyler and Shannon. Link to the channel will be down below in the description. I'll be talking more with Tyler about this season in particular, volume 2, and we'll be doing that in a full-length discussion. I think we're going to be doing it with another YouTuber that Tyler reached out to, so that should be exciting. Stay tuned for that. I hope you're all safe and well out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.